The attendance tonight was 16,083. The gate was 2.03 million. Fight of the night was Ferguson and Cerrone. The other two bonuses went to Shevchenko and Cejudo. And then tonight there were 6 transports. Jan, Pedro Munoz, Ricardo Lamas, Aljamain Sterling, Cowboy Cerrone, and Jessica I. And Cowboy does have an orbital fracture. Who has the first question?
Well, I guess knowing now that we know that he does have an orbital fracture, I guess it was good. But can you just talk about the crazy ending to Cowboy and Ferguson? I mean, the fight that everybody wanted to see. Was it disappointing for you? Did you think it was the right call? What did you think?
Nah, listen, it's unfortunate because he did hit him after the bell, and it sucks when that happens. The ref should have jumped in there and made sure that didn't happen. And Tony Ferguson looked great tonight. He fought a great fight against a very motivated, prepared Cowboy Cerrone. So he deserves all the credit for the fight. It just sucks that, that thing's flapping out in the wind for him. So it happens sometimes, though. What are you going to do?
Of course, we know that we got Khabib and Poirier coming up. Ferguson said I think he'd be open to a rematch. He said he'll take Conor. He said he'll jump into that title fight. What do you think makes sense right now? I know you said we got to kind of let both fights play out, but seeing how things went tonight, what do you think makes the most sense for Ferguson?
Oh, that's what we need to figure out. When we get back to Vegas, we'll, get together on Tuesday and figure these things out. But it doesn't really matter yet because, these guys still got to fight in September. We got Poirier and Khabib, so.
I'll let that happen first. All right.
Yeah.
Shevchenko.
I don't make fights the night of the fight.
Of course. Shevchenko, can you just talk about that? I mean, maybe one of the most dramatic knockouts in women's history for sure, maybe in UFC history.
She's a beast, man. She's an absolute beast, and she gets better every time she fights. Scary.
Caitlin Chookagian was fighting first fight of the night. She said she thinks she deserves the title next. Do you know what makes sense for Valentina at this point?
No. I haven't even thought about it. But the Caitlin fight was good. It was a close fight. It was a good fight. I don't know. We'll see.
And then last, I got to ask you about Cejudo. A great accomplishment for him tonight. Overcame some early adversity. What did you think about his performance?
I'm blown away by his performance. I'm never going to doubt that kid again. Okay, so tonight going into this fight, Moraes is bigger, stronger, explosive. Has a ton of weapons, and he was busting his legs up. Cejudo, what he did tonight, he did it with no legs, too. I mean, that guy had no legs left. I thought this fight was 10 or 12 leg kicks away from being over. And the way that he adapted in that second round and switched up the entire fight, running right into Marlon and trading with him. Then he puts him in the clinch and hits him with like 10 knees to the face, and the knees to the body that he was hitting him with, it was unbelievable. I am blown away. So, this guy has heard it all from, you didn't really beat Demetrius. It was a fluke when you knocked out TJ. You can't deny the guy anymore. I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah. He laid out kind of a weird hit list with Cruz, Faber, and Garbrandt. He didn't
I heard he was saying some nutty stuff on the mic. I didn't hear any of it, but I heard he was going crazy.
Yeah, did any of those fights make sense? I mean, you got Jan, you got Aljamain that both think they're number one contenders.
Right, and who was he calling out?
Cruz, Faber,
Cruz is injured.
And Garbrandt.
Faber's old, and
Cody.
Huh?
Cody Garbrandt.
And Cody Garbrandt. Got it.
And
yeah, I don't know. We'll sit down with him and figure out what he's talking about and see what we'll do.
Cool. Last question for me. You said going in you felt like he was the kind of guy that could defend 2 titles and would do it. But
I said if he could get through Marlon Moraes,
right.
I would not. I absolutely. Does anybody in this room think he couldn't defend both titles?
Absolutely not. But
after the Marlon fight, I'm blown away by it.
He mentioned featherweight, though, as these guys said. I mean,
and he didn't just go in there and try to wrestle. Right. You know what I mean? And put him against the fence and get on top of him. And he ran right into him and fucking wow. Yeah, I'm blown away. So, yeah.
So did tonight do anything to impact the flyweight division? We're all trying to figure out what the future is there. Did tonight's performance have any impact on what happens with the flyweight division?
100%. Obviously, him winning had a lot to do with the division. So yeah, Have I said that it's going away? Did I say it's leaving? I haven't even talked about that division in months.
Well, will you confirm that it's sticking around then? How about we go the other way?
Yes, I just did.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Thanks.
It is confirmed.
Hey, Dan, over here. Did you talk to Cowboy at all on his way out before he went to the hospital?
I didn't.
and I mean, the fans were upset, but obviously he can't continue with the way that his eye was, right? I mean,
Anybody that's in this arena tonight that thought the Cowboy should have continued the fight should be beat with a stick, okay? That was just horrible to think that that guy should go back in there and fight like that. He would, of course he would, but he shouldn't, and he didn't. That's why there's an athletic commission.
And speaking of the commission, were you okay with all the things they did, the whole protocol,
replay,
and
yeah,
that was the right call?
At the end of the day, me, you, the fans, everybody just wants the right decision. No matter how long it takes or what they have to look at, let's at least get the right decision. And I think they made the right decision. Cowboy should have never blew his nose. He knows he's lucky both his eyes didn't swell up from blowing his nose. So.
Why do you think it's so difficult for guys to defend when they win that second title? What makes that so difficult to defend both of them?
I'm confused.
Like if you have a guy that has 2 championships, they can't.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I think that, and tonight proved it. I didn't know. I knew there was going to be a huge size difference between these two, especially after weigh-ins and when they step into the octagon, like we saw with Holloway and Poirier, right? So I knew that Henry was going to be much smaller than Moraes. And Moraes is so strong and, like I said before, explosive and has so many weapons. And, you know, the way that he fought Marlon Moraes, I didn't even know he had it in him, by the way. You know, he bull rushed TJ and he caught TJ with a shot and he knocked him out. It happens. But when he got literally his ass whooped in that first round and his legs completely busted up, he went back to the corner and came out the second round with a completely different game plan that I didn't even know he was capable of. And it played out right there in front of all of us. That guy can fight at both weights, 100%. For as long as he can make the lighter weight, you know? She's a wrestler, and those guys usually can do it forever.
When he fought Demetrius Johnson the first time, even going into that fight, not after the result, of course, did you have any inkling that he was this kind of potential as a fighter?
No. And if you saw the first fight, you would think that how much better could he get for the second fight, you know? And this kid, I'm not doubting him again.
So you don't let him fight at featherweight, though, right?
So
he said in the ring that featherweight was of interest to him. You don't let him fight at featherweight, right?
let's stick with these 2 weights for a minute, and then we'll talk about that stuff too. I heard he also said he's the pound for pound best in the world.
Not the pound for pound best in the world. He said he's the pound for pound best of all time.
Got it. Yeah. Listen, it's awesome that he believes in himself like that and that he's so confident. But you got to be realistic. You got John Jones out there. Habib's never lost. He's undefeated. And look at the guys that these guys have run through, and look at how long John Jones has defended his title. Yeah.
I have 2 other questions for you. Number one, what do you think led to this kind of improvement in Cejudo? Do you think it's more just his belief in himself that led to this, or
obviously he's a super talented guy. He's a great athlete, and yeah, I mean he's so confident in himself. Just meetings that I've had alone with him where he's telling me what he's going to do. And you hear lots of guys say that. Lots of guys believe in themselves. Very few actually pull it off. This guy's following me around, by the way. Seriously, every interview I've done, this guy starts fucking tearing shit down, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
And then my last question for you, Dana, on Ferguson. Can you admit now, did you have any reservations about him fighting tonight? And do you think that those questions are put to rest by what he did? He comported himself pretty well in a very high-pressure environment tonight.
Who?
Tony.
Tony? Oh, yeah. No, I never doubted Tony was ready. He wouldn't have been here tonight if he wasn't ready. Yeah, I never once did I think that Tony wasn't ready to fight. As far as his health or mental health or whatever people think. Yeah, he wouldn't be here tonight.
Dana over here. How impressed tonight were you with Alexa Grasso? And I know the Mexico card is coming up too, and you say you don't make fights, but is she somebody that you really want to get on there and probably pretty high up into the card too?
So first of all, she's somebody that we were watching for a long time before she came to the UFC. Then she came in and didn't really live up to the hype. You know what I mean? Then coming into this week, I can't remember what day I saw her, but I was like, wow. She's in the best shape I've ever seen her in. I mean, her abs were shredded, her shoulders were bigger, her arms were ripped. I mean, I don't know what she changed or what she's doing now, but she looked phenomenal this week. And it paid off tonight against a very, very tough woman.
Do you have anything up on deck for that card yet, or is it still pretty far out?
Yeah. We haven't started messing with that one yet.
All right, thank you.
But I'd like to get her on it.
Dana right here. To piggyback off that, Henry Cejudo, obviously Hispanic American, Tony Ferguson, Tatiana Suarez. We saw Andy Ruiz Jr. knock out Anthony Joshua. How important was this card piggybacking off of that for the Hispanic market that you said has been so key?
Yeah, and listen, anytime things happen good for us with, as far as Hispanics go, it's powerful. Hispanics support their people, more than just about anybody out there. So, we're always interested in growing that market. I literally found some dirt already in Mexico City to build a PI. So the first one's going to pop up in Mexico City, and then we're going to look for 2 more places, and then start looking for some land in Puerto Rico.
When is that? When do you think that'll be finished?
I don't know. And I'm flying to. When do we break ground for China?
Well, we're actually open in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but when do we break ground?
Maybe, I don't know.
Year and a half?
A year ago?
So China took like a year and a half. Probably in the same ballpark. A little over a year, to open the first one.
Hey, Dana, over here.
Yep.
Right here in the back. We talked about Tatiana Suarez. We found out after the fight that she had actually a neck injury going into the fight, and she still pulled out the victory. Do you see her next for Jessica Andrade, or would you be more inclined to give it to Michelle Waterson?
I want to make sure Michelle Waterson. Definitely not Michelle Waterson. Michelle Waterson doesn't even want to fight until like September, October or something, and she's ranked too low. But Tatiana Suarez, I want to make sure that her neck is okay.
And I understand you spoke to Calvin Kattar and his team after his really impressive knockout over Ricardo Lamas. He said there was some talk of a card in Boston. Anything you can kind of?
Yeah, we're looking at a few spots right now, and Boston is one of the options. So anytime we can go back to Boston, I'm in. So hopefully we can get him on the card and do something there.
And last question, just on card locations. We've heard some rumblings. Vancouver might be getting a card this year. Anything you can mention on that?
Is that true? I don't even know if yeah, that's true.
True. It's in September. That's what we're hearing.
September? Potentially.
Okay.
Sounds like a yes.
Good news
to
for
me.
Canada. That's good.
Just go with it. Be in Vancouver in September. It's official.
So, Dana, you mentioned that you've been impressed with Valentina Shevchenko. Could you just a little bit talk about when she first got signed with the UFC and how she progressed throughout this 3-year difference and why you impressed so much?
I mean, forget about when she first signed with the UFC. Her progression in her last 3 fights. I mean, she is literally a wrecking machine. I mean, she is an animal. It's getting to the point where you got to start thinking, who's she going to fight next? I mean, there's always opponents, but she's so nasty. Listen, I don't know who's going to be jumping up, screaming for Shevchenko. I can tell you that. Maybe somebody will, but I wouldn't want to fight her.
Do you think the trilogy between her and Amanda Nunes will happen in the future?
I think that you keep them both in their weight class, and let Valentina defend her belt X amount of times. If you think about it, right now you got Amanda Nunes, who has Holly Holm, which is really the only big star she hasn't fought yet. She's taken everybody else out. Then you have a potential. She wants to fight Cyborg again. I don't think Cyborg wants to fight her again, but she wants Cyborg. So if that fight does or doesn't happen, hopefully it happens because Amanda wants it. But if not, no big deal. She already beat Cyborg. Then Valentina will have defended her belts, and then, maybe you do a who's the baddest woman on the planet type fight, and you do those two again. Anything's possible, but I'd say for a while here we keep them both in their own weight classes.
And my last one, there are rumors about Sochi in August for UFC. Could you confirm if anything is confirmed and if anything is planned?
Oh, you guys are making me give up all the stuff tonight. Are we? No, that's not true.
What is true then?
I don't know.
Is there any truth to Russia that could be announced?
I'm brain dead right now. I don't know what's true and not
Thank you.
true. Oh, Russia? Yeah. Yeah. What happened to Russia? I don't know. I don't remember. I'm getting old, honey. Bear with me. Any other questions? Schmo, what's happening?
Thank you.
Back here.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, Dana. So Cejudo, getting back to Cejudo. Now he's got 2 belts, gold medal. How much do you agree with the proclamation that he's best combat sports athlete of all time?
Do you work for Cejudo? Wouldn't John Jones be the best combat sport athlete of all time? Probably, yeah. There's so many people out there. You got, you have, how about Amanda Nunes? I mean, I just said she beat every big name out there. Habib, the guy's undefeated. You know how hard it is to go undefeated, and he's in a nasty division too. Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah, that's a tough one to claim, man. There's been a lot of bad human beings out there. Look at Shevchenko. Look what she's doing right now and where she's headed. It's tough to call yourself the greatest right now, let alone the greatest ever to ever live.
So, with Shevchenko,
I like his spirit, though.
Yeah. So Shevchenko, with the performance that Valentina did tonight and Henry, and with you being on ESPN now, does that magnify with their performances tonight?
So huge, yes. Yes, I mean, I was telling some guys this week, I came into this week and started to do all this media, and I started hearing all this negative crap again that I've been hearing for the last 20 years. 5 months, maybe 6 months, in that ballpark, we've been with these guys. The business has gone like this. I forgot to tell you guys the other day, too. Everybody was talking about Fight Pass, how that thing was going to take a hit ever since doing bigger numbers now than before ESPN. Even Fight Pass, considering the fact that we're on ESPN Plus, Fight Pass is even bigger than it was 5 months ago. So this ESPN deal is massive. I always knew it would be massive when we got on here. I don't know how any of you could ever have thought it wouldn't be massive being on ESPN. And the tide has risen, and the whole business goes up. And that's just in 5 months. What's going to happen when we've been with these guys for 3 years? It's huge. It's just going to get bigger. The stuff that we're working on now, I think I think a lot of you Vegas guys are coming out, when is it, in 10 days to do that tour with me? In like 10 days, I'm going to blow your mind in 10 days, what we've built and what we're doing and what the future is. And if anybody who's not in Vegas, not from Vegas, can make it, love to have you if you want to come and walk through it. I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. So you're all invited.
I would love to come to Vegas to do that. Julian Virgin from Atlanta. Aljamain Sterling looked very impressive in his bantamweight bout. Is it possible that we see him as a top contender in the bantamweight division?
Yeah, listen, if Aljamain Sterling has always fought like that, he'd be a huge star right now. He looked great tonight. I loved the way he fought tonight. He didn't just try to wrestle. He mixed it up. I mean, in the output that he had tonight, the amount of punches, kicks, knees, elbows, everything that he was throwing, and he was nonstop. Very impressive.
Peter Yan also got a big victory on the main card. Is it possible that we see him as a contender? Yeah,
and he fought, a Jimmy Rivera that didn't want to lose tonight. Rivera looked good too, and it's crazy if you think of the first couple rounds. I was thinking, Yan just won 2 rounds that he probably would have lost if he didn't get dropped. Rivera fought a tough fight, and Yan looked really good.
Final question. Overall, how would you say UFC 238 went?
as advertised. You know, everybody was excited about it, including me. I got here Wednesday. When's the last time you saw me at a fight week on a Wednesday? I couldn't wait to get out here, and the buzz for this card was huge. Everybody was talking about it, and it lived up to the hype.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Dana. If, you may have confirmed this before, but what was the status of Sterling's leg?
Yeah, hold on, let me see. Yeah, he went in for his leg, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything bad, so that's good.
Okay. I was going to ask about Sterling, but just to kind of follow up, you saw Sterling improve, you saw Jan presumably improve, but also Cejudo. Would you say either of those two guys are in Cejudo's orbit in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, they both look good. Listen, they're both top guys in that division. Yeah, they're in his orbit.
Okay. And then finally, putting on your host hat, we know there were supposedly some Bears and Cubs here. In Chicago, we're always interested in that. Who did you entertain tonight in terms of?
Theo Epstein was here, Rizzo. I'm close to those two guys. I don't know many of the other players and stuff. And I'm a Red Sox guy, so I don't know.
Good, cool.
But they were all here. There were Cardinals here. There were Chicago Bears here, Cubs. As soon as the game ended, they all rushed over here after the game. Really cool, and we appreciate the support. And I said this the other day, and I'll say it again, the support that this Cubs team gives us every time we come here in Wrigley Field, I've never seen anything like it. Such good people. The owner is a super humble, good guy. The coach, the players, I mean, the president, they're all really good people, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Dana.
Dana,
Yep.
today, 205-pound announcement for Chris Weidman. He said he'd like to fight in October when the Schmo interviewed him.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put him on the Khabib-Poirier fight card in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah. Well, I we're looking at Chris right now and seeing when he's going to be healthy and when he can fight. But yeah, I think so.
Potential opponent?
What? Yeah. He's ready in October. Not ready for September.
If he fought in September?
Are you messing with me, Schmo? You said you talked to him.
Well, he said he'd like to fight in October, but maybe Abu Dhabi would be a good fight card in September?
Can he do it?
If he's willing?
He's not healthy. You just said that.
Well, he's recovering. He said he'd be willing to fight in October, but maybe he can recover quicker.
Schmo, stop playing games with me. Okay?
Who would be a potential opponent for Chris Weidman at 205?
There's a lot of guys. I mean, there's a lot of potential guys for him at 205.
Rematch with Luke Rockhold?
I like him in Cannonier.
Okay. Appreciate
Not saying that's what I'm going to do. I'm just saying that I like it. Huh? Is he?
Yes.
I still like that fight.
He used to fight at light heavyweight Cannonier.
Dana, last thing, quickly. Cyborg just tweeted that she asked for an immediate rematch and you had told her no. So, do you remember that? Is that accurate?
That she had asked for an immediate rematch.
Remember I asked for an immediate rematch and was told no. I guess she watched the press conference and heard what you said.
Yeah. Hey, Cyborg. What's the story, Hunter? Do you remember? So there you go. So what he said was Amanda wanted to fight at 35 again, defend her belt there. She's fighting Holly, then go back to 45 to face Cyborg. She wants to fight you now. So she wants that Cyborg fight bad. So if Cyborg's interested, we can do it. If Cyborg's not interested, like I said, it's okay. I'm not saying anything bad about Cyborg. I'm just saying, yeah, I understand. That's just the way it played out. But she is ready, willing, and able. You know, if she beats Holly, she wants to fight Cyborg. So if Cyborg wants to fight, it's there. That it? All right. Bye, guys.